Hello legends and super legends, welcome to Veloharmony. Today I want to talk to you guys about, do a review on these helmets that I love. They're made by Giro. They're called the Synthe. I got a new one recently. This is the one Giro makes for Rapha. There's several differences to them. They cleaned it up a little bit. I got this one a while back. This is black. Rapha calls this color ultramarine. This is not a Rapha specific one made by Giro. It's made by Giro also. And they made little subtle differences. They're kind of hard to see, but you can see it's pretty much essentially the same helmet. If you look at, let me bring this down. This is a bit of a shine there. Just the way the design cues, what they did was, this is the standard Synthe. And then Rapha asked Giro to make one for them. They put their name on there and they badged it. They changed the straps. Pull the strap down. The Rapha straps are very reflective, and I thought that was a very nice touch. Everything you see here that looks kind of silver are reflective parts of the band in the straps on the helmet. They're both MIPS equipped. There's a cage in there. That little plastic webbing that you see inside that supposedly reduces the forces on your head when you fall in a crash. It reduces the shaking that you get when your head's moving and hitting against the ground. So it increases the safety, it increases the chance of you not having a deep concussion and so forth. So they've done these improvements over time, and that's one reason why I try to keep up with helmets. So every 3 years or so, I change my helmets. They recommend that because the foam degrades over time, depending on, especially, don't ever store your helmet in a car. I'm sure we know that, in a hot car, because it will degrade their foam. And so it affects the safety of it. But what I wanted to talk about mainly was the fit. I have a very round head, and these helmets work best for me. Some of the helmets, like the ones made by Specialized, they tend to be a little more oval, and they suit people with a different shaped heads. These come with extra padding that you can use if your head is not round, to where you can get it to fit on the sides if your head has a different shape. So they accommodate more people. The biggest thing I wanted to go through here is that I find with these helmets, this brand of the Synthe, when I put on a cap in the winter, it's a lot easier to get that extra notch out of the helmet than from some other helmets once they've been adjusted to just my bare head. They fit my head to the point where they just sit there, and if I have a cap, all I have to adjust are the ear pieces. And those of you who saw the last group ride, you saw me adjusting that in the parking lot. So all I do is I flip the earpiece here and pull that to where this is anchored right on my jawbone, which is where I like it to be, because it just makes the helmet strap disappear like it's not there. You get that little extra notch. The thicker the cap, like when I wear a wool cap, I have to loosen down here and give the strap a little more room. But it's so easy to adjust over here. Once you give the room, this moves into place and it's on. So when I'm wearing a cap, the first thing I do is flip these, put the cap on, clip this and adjust it, and it's in place. It's very, very easy to use. I really like that about this helmet. You don't have to go through, you don't even have to stand in front of the mirror or look at it or whatever else. Some of the other helmets, it's like you're starting all over. When you get a new helmet in the box, some helmets I've had in the past, I had to cut the strap because it was too long, because they're trying to accommodate several head sizes in one size. They all do. And then you end up with a strap that is just too long if you're not at the top end in terms of the size of your head. I think this one is a 60 or 61. I think it's a 61 centimeter, head size. This is a large. So let me take this off. So the same thing was used when they went over to Rapha. All they did was let me use this to compare. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you look at the back, that's a standard Synthe. See that little netting with the G for the Giro right there? Well, when they designed it for Rapha had them remove that, which increases the ventilation even more. So if you look at the back of the standard Giro and the one that was made for Rapha, that's the main difference I see there. And then they just cleaned the contours, because this one was made a few years ago. They just cleaned the contours, and in different colors. It's kind of hard to see, but it's really essentially the same helmet. You get the Rapha logo, and then the sides are cleaned, because here's what the Giro side has, that little netting with the Giro written on there, and Rapha changed that. And those two holes are where you put your sunglasses in the front, down here. I love that, because on this helmet, you don't have to think about it. Some helmets, you got to fish around for it. This helmet will take sunglasses. You don't have to think about it. They just fit there, and they're anchored in place. I really like that feature about them. And you can see, even with this one for the Rapha, I didn't have to do anything. It's on. And if I take off the hat, I may have to adjust it a smidgen, if that. A lot of times I don't have, like this one, I don't have to do anything. The ultramarine, I don't know what they did with the paddings, but it's just a slight difference when I take a cap off versus when I have a cap on. You can see it fits my head like that. You take this on, you put on a cap, and you get the same feel. I don't know how they did that. I really like that about it, because a lot of times in the rides when I'm riding, within an hour, in changeable conditions, I need to pull this thing off. And I don't want to be messing with a helmet on a bike. So when I slip this off like this and I put it on, my helmet fits really well. And I think the difference is the padding that they use in the helmet. I'm going to show you up close. Very thick. When I got this helmet originally, the original padding was very thin. In a year or so, it fell apart. I ended up buying a replacement. They've improved the padding. That's the replacement. It did not come with this helmet. It's the same one that's in this ultramarine from Rapha. It's just in pink. So they've improved them. They're nice and thick, and these will last a lot longer. Because the other ones they used to have there were flimsy and they fell apart. That's your, that's the brow pad that picks up the sweat when it's hot. The pluses about these helmets for me, besides the fact that it fits my round head best, is the ventilation and the lightness of the weight. When you put the helmet on, you forget you're wearing a helmet. I really like that about the Synthe. It's very supposedly aerodynamic in their testing. I have no way of verifying it. What I do like about it is the look and the ease of use. So you slip on this helmet and you forget you're wearing a helmet, literally. I've literally left the house before thinking I had a helmet and had to come back when I realized I didn't have this on. That's how they feel, from the strap all the way to the helmet. It just kind of hugs your head. So over time, you get spoiled. When you wear a different brand of helmet, you notice the difference. This just sits in there and cups, especially around here. You forget it's there. So they spent a lot of time developing the helmet to the point where there is no reason not to wear it. Very light, very breathable. In the summer, I am so thrilled to have this. I'm not sure if Rapha's removal of the vent back there compared to the standard Synthe, I'm sure that they claim that it improved the aerodynamics. It probably does. But it doesn't make a difference to me. I mean, it would make sense that you've got nothing there. There's more air coming through. And I think it's a nice touch. I just like this color, and it's not offered elsewhere. And I think it's a color that Rapha had Giro make for them. And so I will put the links to this helmet, the standard one. All of them will be on the description of this video for those of you who want to try the Synthe. But a lot of the pro teams use them. They use them in different colorways that matches their kits, But I really like these helmets. Since they came out and I tried this years ago, this is several years old, probably a couple of years old. And this one, actually, it may be about a year old, because I bought them several years ago and the rock lock broke, and I contacted Giro customer service online, and all they required was that I ship the helmet to them. It cost like $4 or $5 postage in a box. As soon as they got the helmet, I thought they were going to just replace the rock lock, which is this thing back here. They just shipped me a brand new helmet. So this helmet is about a year old because Giro shipped me a new replacement. It still had the old pads. So since I got this, I replaced the old pads. You can get them online for like $6 or $7. The newer pads, the material is just better. It's a lot thicker and they don't fall apart. The ones that came originally, they fall apart. So they've improved the padding. And I'm sure it's because of all the challenges people had with them. So this is the Giro Synthe helmet. Highly recommended. You can't spend enough to protect your head. The price points vary. It might be around the $200 mark, thereabouts, but they vary. You can shop for them. I will put the link for the best price in the description for those of you who want to try them. But every 2 to 3 years is recommended that you replace your helmet, because not only are the helmets being improved, especially with the MIPS now, your helmet will degrade over time. And if you have a crash where you hit your head, go ahead and get a new helmet. And a lot of manufacturers will give you a discount, or some of them will even replace your helmet if you crash. They use that so they can study it. So if you contact the people that manufacture the helmet that you crashed in, they will make you a deal. There is no reason to take the chance on wearing a cracked helmet or just a helmet over 3 years plus, you know, depending on how much you've used it. But don't ever leave your helmet in a hot place. It needs to be stored in a temperate area, you know, kind of just in your house. Don't leave it in a hot car. When you go to races and stuff, don't leave it in a hot car. Keep it with you if you have to, if you're out there on a hot day. Don't leave it in a hot car. It's not a good idea. If anything, you could probably put it in the trunk. I think it might be better in than in the cabin, especially here in Texas in the summer. The cars really heat up. But I'm going to go ahead and just stop there. This is the Giro Synthe helmet. This is the Rapha model. And this is the standard Synthe. You can't go wrong with either of them. Get your K's in. Don't let anything stop you.